Alright guys, today we're back with another mod review. Today we're going to be looking at Player Respawn System by Lunzier. This is one of my favorite mods, and I know what you're thinking off the bat. Why do I need to respawn? The Risk of Rain is all about dying. Roguelikes are about dying. But this actually has a few different kind of cool uses, especially if you play in lobbies like I do with lots of players. Oftentimes my focus is more on, just playing the game and enjoying it, not dying and then watching 10 people loot. But let's go ahead and start by looking at the config. So the way this works is there are two ways you can set the players. Well, necessarily there are three ways you can set the players to respawn. One, we're going to see stage time based. So the longer you're on a stage, the longer it takes to respawn. Or game time based. The longer you're in a run, the longer it takes to respawn. It just depends on whatever you like. I generally do stage time based. So if you make a mistake early on in the stage, you come back fast. But by the time you guys are fighting the teleporter boss, it's a little bit harder, to stay alive. And naturally, if all players die, the run is over. There's also an option to block maps from respawning players. That's fine. Starting respawn time, I set it to 1, and I set my max respawn time to 60. And every 5 seconds, it goes up. No, every 60 seconds it goes up by 5 seconds. So every minute you're on a stage, this respawn timer increases. So by the time you're hitting 3, 4, 5 minutes on a stage, just taking that max respawn time of 60 seconds to respawn. There's a few other options. Use pods on start of the map, so that spawn your drop pod. That's normal. Death time UI, that will put a little thing on your screen that tells you when you respawn. This only works for players who have the mod installed, so I just leave that false because I'm the only one who will see it anyway. Blocked. You can choose to block. You can choose to block respawns during the teleporter. I don't do that. I do have respawn on TP start sometimes when I'm playing a hard mode with just a few people, not like 8 or 9 people, maybe like 4, 5, 6. I'll have it only respawn when the teleporter starts, so everyone kind of gets a second chance. And then block spawn on Mythic's fight, that's up to you. A lot of these options are up to you. There's lots of time to choose when to block or when to respawn, but let's go ahead and pop in the game. Unfortunately, I'm not playing multiplayer, so if I die, obviously the run will end. But I can just show you the configs in BepInEx config manager real quick. My head is off still. But we're going to go ahead and take a look at these options. This player respawn system does not appear until you start a run. So if you're at the main menu and you're trying to look at these options, like where are they, you have to start a run. So max respawn time is super easy to change on the fly. Like if I'm doing some trolling and I want everybody to die but come back really fast, I'll boom, change that to 1. But usually I set it to 60 for normal gameplay. And you can see I also leave restart on Mythic start and end enabled, so everyone can play more. Respawn TP time. So these two options are a little bit confusing. Update current respawn by X seconds. So that means the amount of time you want the respawn timer to increase, and then the next one is how often you want it to increase. So if every 60 seconds, every 1 minute, the time increases by 5 seconds, starting at 1 until a max of 60, if that makes sense. And then to disable the mod, basically, you can just uncheck all of these boxes except for use pods. It doesn't matter if you check that one. But you can just disable the mod, use time respawns, boom. Now people won't respawn at all. And then if you leave these on, they'll respawn, when Mythic starts and ends or when the TP starts. So you can just go ahead and turn off all these and boom, the mod is basically disabled now. But usually I just turn off use time to respawn. But yeah, this has a lot of fun uses. It's a little busted in Simulacrum because you'll spawn out in the middle of the void most of the time. So I wouldn't recommend it for there, but for classic runs, it's a lot of fun. And like I said, the main point of the mod is 1, to kind of make the game easier, but 2, also to make it so you can do more interesting stuff and play with death as a mechanic more often. Like I said, if you're playing in a game with like 16 people, it's not fun to just die and then sit there and watch people loot. Like, it takes a long time for 10 people to loot. I don't know if you knew that, but death should still have consequences. So when you're dead, you don't earn money, you can't buy chests. If you're dead when the TP items drop, you don't get any. So death still has consequences, and it can actually lead to some really interesting and like clutch moments. especially when you add perma damage into the mix, because you know later on in a stage, you know, you could be, all your teammates could be dead and you're the only one alive, and then you have maybe like a third of your max health because of perma damage, and you have to survive 60 seconds for the TP boss, you know, to get one of your friends to come back. And it can get pretty harrowing, but yeah, it's actually a really fun and versatile mod. I find it's the best respawn system that I found in the game. And without, I mean, other than that, I guess there's not much more to talk about. If you like the mod, go ahead, check it out in the description. And if you want more Risk of Rain 2 content, please stay subscribed, because I need subscribers. Thank you.